Namaskar and welcome to MyStartup TV. Business consulting is often less understood, yet SMEs need partners who not only chart strategies but also walk with them in execution. Well, today my host company is Stratefix, which offers strategic and implementation, which goes beyond planning, ensuring the strategy is actionable and measurable. Today we feature Mukul Goyal, who is the co-founder of Stratefix Consulting. Well, before we dive into the program, I would like to share a milestone news with our audience. MyStartup TV is proud to announce its global distribution through our partnership with Lemix, which has a reach for about 35 countries, including India, the US, Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. We just launched it today. Through this collaboration, our live programs like this and our broadcasts will be available in 34 countries across worldwide. Today, together with these OTT platforms, we reach about 100 million downloads, a subscriber base of 320 million, and collectively these have accounted for about 1 billion viewing hours annually in the last 10 years of our partners. So that's the kind of platform we are associated with. Do join us on our live shows, which is Founder Talk Show and Thought Leader Show, and other interesting events that we cover pan-India on startups, entrepreneurship. And through this partnership, we would be giving the founders, the enablers, investors, mentors a global reach. So viewers, do join us Monday to Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. for our live shows. Welcome, Mukul. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sunilji. Thank you. And first of all, congratulations for this milestone. It is certainly an achievement. I could see that.
Thank you.
You are our first guest when we launched this show live.
Say that in that case, it's a milestone for me also that I am visible right now in 35 countries.
Yes, you will be available,
We watched around 34 countries. So, let's start by understanding, what sparked that led to creation of Stratefix. And also, if you can explain what Stratefix word means and what are the gap, in consulting space that you aim to fill.
So, first of all, pardon the dressing. You look extremely sharp and professional. I am sharp and professional, yet I believe because I work a lot in SMEs, hence I believe more on in terms of, folding up my sleeves rather wearing a blazer or a tie. But nonetheless, you look very sharp and smart, Sunilji. I'll come to my point. Stratefix. Stratefix is strategy plus fixing for exponential growth. So we say strategy plus fixing for exponential growth, where the X is for the exponential growth. In the year 2017, 14th April 2017 is where my co-founder Chirag and I, we started this organization together. And the context is very simple. We read and we studied so many companies and we saw so many consulting organizations, and we found that there is a huge blue ocean lying for us, which is execution for SMEs. We thought that we do not want to become a trainer or a coaching company or a consulting company, but can we become an execution company who would say that we can execute everything for our clients on ground floor? And that's where Stratefix came in picture, and that's the inception is.
Lovely. So as Stratefix follows a consulting and execution model, how does this differ from traditional consulting companies?
I'd say, so in the learning pedagogy, you could say that there's something called training and there's coaching, there's consulting, and there's execution model, which we have coined for our base. To us, we believe that the differentiating comes one is in the onus. That are we taking the onus of making sure that we will execute things for our clients on every level, be it in the sales. So we are responsible in day-to-day sales. We are just not responsible to sit in the boardroom and give them the strategy. We are responsible for end-to-end sales, be it on B2B or B2C or exports or franchisee. Passing it on from sales to operations and then to HR, any vertical you pick up in the organization, we take the entire onus of implementation. To do that, we put multiple people on one project. We also put a dedicated people only for that project based at that client side to ensure that the execution is happening.
So, one of the things with SMEs is, they are not very open to the idea of letting a consultant, they see it as somebody taking over the business, which they have been running, especially if it is a family-owned business. So, do you face that challenge and how do you overcome that?
They were not okay, but they are absolutely open right now. Let's understand that the change of the generation has also brought the change of the mindset in every organization. And with thanks to great coaches who are outside there, like example Rahul Jain, Rajiv Talreja, Vivek Bindra, all these coaches have done magnanimous work in the entire nation by telling them the importance of having third parties. And hence for us, it's no more making them aware about why we are required. It is also about just to make them aware that why we are the right people to help them in their entire journey of growth.
Also, during my own consulting days, which I started way back in 2000s in Afghanistan, that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey. Consultant was seen as somebody who would come give ideas, or business plan, and then let the company run it, and many of them would actually, they would kind of whisper sort of thing. ये आइडियाज बता के चले जाते हैं बट इनको पता भी है ग्राउंड में क्या हो रहा है. सो डू यू स्टिल फेस दोज काइंड ऑफ टाइप कास्टिंग दैट पीपल डू अबाउट कंसल्टिंग और कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स और कंसल्टेंट्स?
सर ये नोशन आज भी है और ये नोशन नहीं है, ये रियलिटी है. देखिए डिपेंड करता है, इट्स प्योरली डिपेंडेंट ऑन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज इट. डज इट इवन हैज द रिक्वायर्ड मैन पावर टू गो एंड इम्प्लीमेंट? For corporates, it's not a problem that someone can come as a subject matter expert and give them a guidance and then they can roll it through their own team. But for SMEs, small, medium enterprises, they do not have a team. So hence, when we come in picture, we make sure that we implement everything by building the team and then going along with them in the market.
That is where, which you rightly bring out, that there are many consultants who don't have a team. And they kind of put ad hoc basis, they bring people together. And then naturally, because they are not working together, they have not been working together for long, that leads to firstly bad results. Secondly, consulting companies, consulting firms like yours or consultant like me, they get that stick, that all they kind of measure all consultants, all consulting firm with one stick. And that is where I think you have done the difference, isn't it? Where you are not just about coming up with or drawing up a plan, it's also about being part of the execution itself.
Because now we are a team of 130 people, we are 100% very clear that we take the onus of implementation, and we also ensure that while implementing, we are with the client in thick and thin every situation, and we don't do ad hoc basis. Everything which we have built in our organization is purely in-house. We don't outsource a single thing.
So you also have a proprietary, thing which is AINA, AINA. Can you explain how AINA diagnosis framework and how does it help businesses identify their true challenges?
So AINA is our trademark product called AINA. AINA, rightly said, Shisha, right? Advanced Integrated Need Analysis. That's our own created tool for identifying the absolute need of the organization 360 degree. We just don't study one aspect, but we study sales, HR, operation, finance, marketing. We also speak to their clients. We also understand the data. An organization knows most of the things, but they are not implementing it. And AINA makes them aware of the problems, and also it makes them reinforces the entire thought process that these are the things which you wanted to implement, but you have not been implementing because of this is the root cause analysis. So that's our first step. And we ensure that why we do this, because SMEs ought to know that actually मेरे organization चल क्या रहा है, मैं पहले ये तो समझूं, उसके बाद बात की बात है. So it's more also like a validation tool for a lot of people.
So this requires time to understand what the SMEs are doing or what company is doing. So how much time does it go when you from the day you start to you coming up with a strategy? How much time does it take for you to build that, understand what's going on, where are the problem areas, where are the trouble areas, what needs to be fixed, and create a strategy and all? How much time does it take?
When we do Aina, that specifically is a 1 week task where we go in depth into the organization completely and we are able to identify it. Thankfully, we have reduced the turnaround time from 1 month to 1 week. And now at times we complete that in 3 days also, because we believe that efficiency and effectivity both should work together. On the strategy side, which is a deep dive strategy, that requires around 45 to 60 days for us to give them an absolute clarity in terms of what is to be done further.
When you what are the elements in your strategy? I mean, does it include change of human resource, change of processes, procedures? So if you can just throw some light on what includes what's part of the package when you talk about when you draw up a strategy.
So I think strategy is an extremely common and the most utilized word in every organization. But however, one thing which no one's talking about is how does the owner thinks or how does the co-founder thinks? Because the strategy starts by changing the thought processes of the founder or the promoter. Till the time I don't change my thought process, nothing which I cascade down will really work upon. Hence, I always say that culture eats strategy for breakfast. It's always about the culture. So when we are building the strategy, indeed we are trying to identify what is the culture of this organization and how we can actually redefine it to make sure that whatever strategy we build, that actually gets executed.
So, that brings me to, what are some of the most common mistakes SMEs make when trying to implement strategies built, drawn by people like you, and how does Stratefix help overcome them?
I think there are so many common mistakes which SMEs do, and it's visible everywhere we go. One is everyone wants to build a team, but everyone wants to hire Rajnikant. No one wants to invest time in making people Rajnikant because they have a fear if we hire people and people will leave, then that's a loss of business and loss of time. And we say that's ought to happen, but we have to keep building. So one is everyone wants to hire people, but they only want to hire people who are subject matter expert, specific to their industry, should be able to adopt in their life cycle, which is not possible. So don't hire basis on knowledge, but hire basis on attitude. That's something which we always recommend. Second challenge, SME works by themselves. They do not want to delegate, or they fear in delegating because there is a fear of loss. And hence we want to always try to bring a culture where can we build a strong team where the delegation is also happening equally, so that all the strong revenue generating activity can be done by the promoter. Is the delegation, and third is proper financial arrangements. Most of the places I believe and I have seen that if we ask some numbers, they say हमें नहीं पता है, वो हमारे सीए को पता है. अरे व्यापार कौन कर रहा है? धंधा आप कर रहे हो, राइट? बिजनेस आप कर रहे हो. So it cannot be कि आपको सीए को पता है. सीए को तो पता होना ही चाहिए, but you should also be aware of your numbers. It should be on your data tips. So hiring, delegation, misunderstanding of the financials, right? Not getting proper data on hand. These are common challenges which I have seen always in SMEs.
And how do you help them overcome, challenge of human resource? Because that's the other part, isn't it? Most of the companies also suffer because they don't have the right, the right people in the places. Be it, right from starting from junior level to the top level. I
think the first thing what we do is we identify a very good organization chart which is required for any organization, because most of the organization I have seen that they fail and they progress only because of right organization chart. Once we do that at a very basic level, we try to make them understand that we need to see deep down that what kind of person do we require. 99% people wants an absolute replica of who I am, right? Which is an application. You cannot expect your replica, and you cannot get right people.
They would have started their own company, isn't it?
It's not about just starting your own company also, but every person comes with a knowledge, skill and attitude, KSA, right? So the right thing is, can I hire people based on attitude? So the second thing what we do after the organization chart is we make them understand that what is your basic necessity of this profile, what can be built upon over the time in the organization, and what is the basic necessity which the person should come with. If these two things are very clear, then it is pretty easier for us to hire people and build a team. Of course, it does take time because you don't get a ready reckoner material to be used. But at the end of the day, at least we have someone whose attitude level is way higher and he's ready to work, he's ready to slog, and he may be ready to go out in the market completely for us.
And having worked for many years, could you share a client success story where Stratefix involvement led to major business transformation?
I think we have all the mix of success stories and not so success stories because this is more like like a combination of science and arts. So we've done around 550 projects in this last 8 years, where we've done in 70 industries. One of the very interesting projects which currently we are doing, and we're so happy to do that, is that there's a client who's into FMCG and who sells confectionery toffees practically to underprivileged or the labor class or BPL families, right, around construction sites. The organization has been existing from so many years, and it's been a couple of months we are working with them. We have not applied anything outside the sales playbook. So it's not the new strategy which we have created, but our execution has deep down level so much that we've been able to achieve the target which they've not been able to achieve from last 10 years. That quarter target we were able to achieve only by quick fixing and making sure that our sales follow-up, lead generation, closure things are online. And if it's there, the data is visible, things are fairly possible. Case study, there are so many other case studies, companies into agriculture, companies into chemical, companies into real estate. We have seen companies where the partners were absolutely ready to shut off the business, that we don't want to do this business anymore, it doesn't have the margin, and we were able to survive the business. Not only that, but we were able to identify the right product mix which would give them the margins also, give them a good runway also, and also generate more and more cash revenues.
Here I would like to understand that if you can talk about the kind of team you have, because to be able to do all this, you need a mix of people from all sides, all sectors, all segments across, spread across business. So if you could talk about your team.
Rumi said this very, very nicely, that what you're seeking is seeking you. I believe that because we have this dedication that we would want to make this India's largest SME consulting company, we automatically have attracted a lot of great people to come and join our team who may not have the required knowledge. We are a young team with a median age of around 27, 28. We are not a 35, 40, 45 median age people, right? But people have hunger to grow, hunger to deliver. We are a very heavily people hiring organization, that irrespective of the requirement, we will still hire, thinking that if there is a good person who's talented, the person can create his or her own space in the organization, right? So we have 13 departments in our organization. You name the department and we would have it, because we want to ensure that to give a seamless delivery to our client, we should have everything in place within us.
So, yeah.
Data facts. So we have around 45% females, 55% males. Within our demographics, we are just not dependent on Surat, the city from where we come from. We have around 30% of the people coming from outside the Surat, outside the Gujarat also, coming all together from UP and Bombay and also Chennai, right, to make sure that we have a full-fledged, good working class people in the organization.
That's a
Mix of people, talent, demography, isn't it? So you have clients spread across, industries like textile, pharma, hospitality, and retail. How do you customize strategies for each of these sectors? Because they are all different. They have all different challenges, isn't it?
To me, I believe that what we have aced is understanding the domain. So more than the industry, because industry plays couple of percentage as a role, the higher percentage is the business model. And if the business model is fairly clear, which is maybe B2B, B2BC, B2C, D2C, exports, franchise, I believe if the business model is fairly clear, then the strategy making is not a very difficult thing. However, to conglomerate, to club both the things, we make sure that every time whenever we get a project, we also bring an industry expert ad hoc basis. So to ensure that the client gets the validation also, whatever we are making. And also because our execution is happening on ground, we also do competitive analysis. So through our external experts, through competitive analysis, through our customers and through our clients, in all the four dimensional approach, we are able to identify that what is the right thing which is required for our clients. And then subsequently we do make course corrections and the things are done on place.
So, as a company, as you grow, what has been your biggest lesson in building and scaling your internal team?
Trust people, give them free hand, see the magic they do, be ready that they will commit mistakes, be ready that they will make losses, but it's okay. It's okay. None of us were trained, all of us got the opportunity, so it's okay. Give them the opportunity. Do not be very much hard closer in terms of I want this and not that. I think that's something which I would always want in building and scaling the team. And respect people. I think that's the most important point, that do we have a culture of respecting people from, it's not, doesn't matter that who they are or where they come from. But if they're in the organization, we all are at the same place. So respect people.
Well, that resonates completely with what we do at MyStartup TV. We believe in giving opportunities. We believe in respecting people for what they are, and we just bring people and build. We don't go looking for talented people. We bring them, train them, and cross domain. Somebody might be engineer. We end up training them as a camera person. So I think I can resonate with what you're saying, and I think that's how SMEs should build, and that's the culture companies should follow, especially startups. That's what we cover. So, as a consulting industry is a highly, competitive. How do you ensure Stratefix continues to stand out and stay relevant?
One, our first approach is very clear that how soon can we get the ROI of our client. We need to understand that each client is practically a businessman like yours, and if they're investing a penny, they would make sure that they want to get a return out of it. So one approach is we make sure that how is our ROI clearly visible. That is from day one. Second, we pick up the targets and we fix up a lot of our commercial basis on the targets we deliver. Third, we put a full-time consultant deployed at the client space, so to ensure that the delivery is seamless. Fourth, our people are not multitasking, they are specific. So my operations people have zero understanding about HR, and that's how we have made sure that we are specialized people, we are not generic people. These are a couple of specimens which we have delivered and developed inside to make sure that the client gets delivery and we get huge business from referrals and as well as through our sales team. Another thing is, because as I said, that execution is something which is the most underappreciated asset in any business, but the most important. I believe over the time our client starts understanding that that's something which is very important. So that's the way how it has really helped us to grow further.
So how do you measure success of your projects, both for your clients and internally as a company?
Internally for us, it's very important to understand that what's our per month per client revenue. Second is how much is the retention percentage of the client, and third is how much wallet size have we increased for per client. These are the three different parameters. For a client, the KPIs are pretty clear, that how soon have we been able to identify the ROI, how soon have we been able to develop the team for them. Third, how fast have we gone to the GTM in the market and developed. And lastly is that how review has done very strongly, so the clients has everything on data depth, and they are not notional about what is possible and what is not possible.
Those are good parameters. So, SMEs are all about pricing, right? When it comes to anything, whether it is product, service. So, for the benefit of some of the founders out there who might be SMEs, if you could throw some numbers as to what would it cost for a SME or a startup, which is probably funded, to use your service?
Well, I believe everything depends on what kind of problem statement we are trying to solve. Something like as simple as Aina, which you mentioned right initially, that can cost anywhere between 50,000 rupees to 1,50,000 rupees. It's a very small number. And
That's a one-time
to that, sorry?
That's a one-time.
That's a one time, right? And we also have something where we charge around like a 1 crore rupees something a year. There's a huge variance. But having said that, what is most important for us is to make sure that how have we been able to not just make our clients understand about the investment they want to make, but how easily can we do the ROI part. So hence, our services, as I said, that the pricing is two variants, but it also depends on the problem statement that what are we trying to achieve.
So looking ahead, what's your vision for Stratefix over a next 5 or 10 years? What new opportunities exist out there that you're looking to tap into?
सर देखिए 10 साल की कहानी नहीं पता, मुझे 3 साल की कहानी पता है. हम अभी फिलहाल 130 लोग हैं. By the next 3 years will be 500 people. Okay, we'll be listing this organization next 3 years from now. We will become the first organization in the entire India as management consulting, specifically only management consulting, who will be listing themselves. Someone does before that, nothing like it. But our vision for us is very clear. I'm a tier B town boy who has a huge aspiration along with my co-founders and partners and my team members. I think we will become India's largest SME consulting company.
Well,
And for India to become Viksit Bharat, we need more of you in tier 2, tier 3 cities, towns, building businesses, not just for the local area, but for India and for the globe. We wish you all the very best for that, and also we look forward to when you get listed in the market. So before I let you go, MyStartup TV, we are a media startup bootstrapped, and the whole platform was created to showcase entrepreneurs, startups, businesses like yours. The idea was to take the message to the world out there, right? And throughout this tie-up that we have done today, that is going to add wings to the way we take the message. What do you think of the kind of work we are doing?
Sir, I think you're doing a very phenomenal job. One is about starting and taking the initiative. Second is about consistently doing it. And I think more than the initiative or more than the intelligence, it is the discipline which takes someone further. I think as an organization, you're doing a phenomenal job, not just about giving opportunities like us as entrepreneurs to come on your panel, but also giving a huge platform, an open platform where people can share their wins, their achievements, their work they're doing. And you are practically commoditizing the success. And I think that's the best usage of the platform which you're doing as MyStartup TV.
Thank you for those kind words, and yes, that's what we are here about, and we look forward to hosting you again on our show on some of the panel discussions around consulting. Viewers, that was Mukul Goyal, co-founder of Stratefix, a consulting firm that does not only give you strategies but also works with you, walks the talk. Thank you, Mukul, for joining, and viewers, in case you want to see such interesting conversation, join us from 4 to 6 Monday to Saturday on our Founder Talk show and Thought Leader show. Mukul, thank you very much.